My name is Morgan Cossell, and I would like to share with you my mini research project that we did for LME 508. So, first of all, I had to define what is my research question. And so I was really thinking about okay, how do in program school librarians, so we're just looking at school librarians that are still working towards their certification, how do they see their roles to be moving towards technology specialists? Because technology is starting to play a huge, huge role in our world. And so that has changed the field of library science. So that was my research question that I was really intrigued to know about. So for my research design, I chose a focus group, and that was really because I was centrally concerned with perceptions and opinions of people in a specific defined group. So, my research subjects, though this seems kind of obvious that it would be classmates in LME 508, I wasn't first set on just doing my classmates. I also wanted to do a comparison with current school librarians. However, that was not a possibility because I did not have a human um, subject research form filled out. So there were 19 prospective participants, but I only got 16 responses, but that was still a really good response for my study, in my opinion. So, in terms of the literature review, there was nothing on my specific question. When it came to perception, there was a lot saying that yes, it is clear that roles and responsibilities are changing and they're shifting for school librarians with the advent of all of these technologies, but not exactly how librarians or prospective librarians felt about this shift. But what I also found was that librarians are still seen, maybe even more so than ever, as teachers, even though the content that they're teaching and the delivery of that content may have changed with this technology. So for data collection, I chose to use SurveyMonkey, mostly because it is so incredibly user friendly and easy for the creator and the participant. I had 5 open ended questions. I wanted those so I could really get the true thoughts in the words of my participants. So for the demographics, I collected gender, the year obtained the bachelor degree, and the level of education that was taught, whether that was elementary, middle school, or high school, and then also the subject that my participants taught. So when it came to male and female participants, as you can see, it was overwhelmingly female, only had one male. Year that people graduated with their bachelor's degree, um, over half the class graduated after 2011. So I think that will play into a role in terms of the technology and how comfortable they feel with it. Subject currently taught. This was surprising to me. I thought more people would be teaching English. Because that's kind of the segue into library media historically. But we had 29% at science, so that was really interesting. Level of teaching, I had anticipated there being more high school teachers. I'm not sure why, but we had over half of my participants as elementary school teachers. And then, so we have here the current perceived roles of a school librarian. So at 36%, we have collection, which is kind of a no brainer. But then I was surprised to see that 22% of my respondents said that that was a really big role. And then technology skills, help and maintenance made up about 32%. This is a comparison in terms of current roles versus the roles before the internet. So pre-internet, instead of 33%, collection was 71%. So 3/4 of the role was collection. And then collaboration was only 9.5%. So it's nice to see that the perception has grown in terms of collaboration. but promoting reading was actually seen as more of a role pre-internet, which is a bit disconcerting. So these are the perceived information technology roles. It's kind of across the board. There are a lot of roles that in program participants feel they might be taking on. Mostly technology organization and maintenance at 30%, but also being informed and sharing new technology resources, having a good collection technology, and then helping with technology skills and technology help. So these are the impacts of technology that the participants felt had occurred in the field of library science, specifically, excuse me, in schools. It was both the impacts that were the most were collection maintenance is easier, so that's positive. Teachers, they've become teachers of technology, which can be positive. More responsibility at 23%, so that's kind of negative, but also more resources at 18%. And so these impacts, when asked whether they were predominantly positive or negative in terms of the impacts of technology, 100%, all 16 participants said predominantly positive. And so that was surprising to me because my current LMS had said, there are some changes she's feeling kind of uncomfortable with. When asked about what technologies seem to be vital for a successful library program, definitely we're seeing circulation software that works well at 29%. Of course, Wi-Fi at 21%, but also a variety of technologies at 21%. So there are lots of things that in-program participants felt were vital for success. When asked about the changes in the past 5 years, all of my participants said, yes, there had been changes, and these are what they are. Responsibility for technology is the big one. And then we have teaching technology skills coming up second. And then collaborating with instruction has become a change, which is actually definitely a positive thing. So when asked, how do they feel that the role is shifting to technology specialist, what's your perception there? Over half of the participants, 57%, said it was a high possibility that this shift was definitely going to occur. We then had, as small pieces of our pie, one person each feeling that it was unlikely, or they felt indifferent, or they felt it had already occurred. And then we did have 21% say they felt like it was starting to overshadow some traditional literacy, and that might definitely happen if the role shifted. So in conclusion, although the perception of technological impacts on school librarians is mostly positive, there are still lots of concerns. And I feel like this is going to be an ongoing topic, that this is not going to change as more technology comes into the field. So I wanted to give you a glimpse of my Powtoon animation. It's loading. Hopefully soon. So